Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Wednesday, my favorite day of the week, hump day. We come together, we make some maps with Inkarnate. Super excited about that. Today, we are doing part two of our Elven Citadel series. In the part one, people had requested that we make this a series because we hadn't finished the other floors, so we're going to continue with that. I'm excited to say. We're going to be focusing on the other floors and then probably putting details on the ground floor. Now, if you by chance missed that stream, part one, don't worry, I provided a link in the chat on where to go to watch that part before you continue on with part two. If you haven't already, I totally recommend that you join our Discord server. We have an incredibly helpful community, great place to go if you need help with making maps. We also take stream requests. If by chance you're looking through the stream calendar and you don't see the stream that you would like to watch on our channel, then please click that link. Leave us suggestions. We want to know what you would like to see, okay? So please don't be shy. Let us know what you would like to watch. Now, I got some announcements as well. So we're going to go over to what's new. And there's quite a bit going on, actually. So pretty cool. We just released a new artisan pack, which is absolutely beautiful pack. You see there's a nice map with all the art on it, and then you'll see the stamps here. So art, easels, art, places for making dresses, embroidery, materials for bread, for baking. So a nice artisan pack with some carpentry here as woodworking tools. So great new pack so that you can kind of create some more interesting shops. And then also, if you haven't known yet, we just did we are currently doing a special summer offer to unlock Pro for free. It's an exclusive summer offer for a free plan for users. So now you can unlock Pro, and there's a limited time. So definitely do that. If you don't know how to redeem the coupon or the code, just scroll down and you'll notice it'll show you how to redeem the coupon. So just kind of look down. You can see that as well. We've got new bug fixes and improvements, and we released that July weekly map prompts and the stream calendar. Again, if you don't see the kind of streams that you want to watch, that you would like to see, please go ahead and click that stream requests link and let us know what you want to see, okay? All right, so let's just jump right in here. So we have our Elven Citadel, and in a quick recap, so we made the exterior, we made the foundations, and remember the trick is you build up, so build the ground, build the foundations, and then continue building up, just like you would in real life. You build from the ground up. So you should do the same when putting together your compositions in Inkarnate. So, well, with the first or the ground floor here, which is on top of that foundation, we made it an entranceway, kind of a hall. And when people come in here, when elves come in here, it's a sign of respect to wash your feet, to wash your hands. And so there's a pool there in the center. And so this is kind of a parlor. It's a place where you entertain guests who aren't staying for very long. They're just sitting there to chat with you, to come visit their neighbors or whatnot. So that's kind of what this kind of little pool is for here. And then there's a staircase that kind of leads up to the next floor. So that's what we'll be doing, is kind of making these next floors here. And so when you have the ground floor, you only need one staircase unless there's multiple staircases going to different parts of the upstairs. But because this has just got one staircase, you just need to show on the next floor the staircase that you went up to get to that floor, and then a staircase to go to the next floor up if there is another floor. And what's really cool is we can just copy and paste this, and then we can end up just flipping it, where you can just flip this. So we'll turn it this way. And I'm going to put it to where it's on the other side like this, so there's plenty of room in the top part. So I'm just going to move it over to here, and I'm moving some pieces over this way. And I think the stair is facing the right way. I think it is. Go ahead and put this railing in. This in. And this is again, it's the steps that go upstairs to the next floor, basically. And if you're not sure which way, maybe the players came up, like which side did they come up, this side, or did they go to that staircase? The way that I kind of do it is to where if the staircase is right here on the circular section right here, then I'm going to put it over on this side, on the left side. So it was on the right side of the circle. Now it's on the left side of the circle. And then that way it kind of looks like there were stairs that went up. Okay. And then another thing to maybe indicate that this, you know, which staircase is which, you can use light sources at the top or the bottom of staircases. So if I put like a light source right here, I just type in light and I put it over here. Let's just say there's like maybe a torch on the wall or something right here. We'll put a torch there, but there's a light source right there. Then you can take that light source and then put it at the bottom of this staircase. Just bring the brightness or the opacity down a little bit. Right here, just like that. And it will you'll be able to know like, hey, I know which side of the staircase goes up and which one goes down because of that light source. It's just indicating to the players that like, oh, hey, okay, it makes sense. There's continuity on where the staircase went and where the other staircase is going. Another thing you can do too, if you want to show up from down, if you don't want to use light sources, is you can also use shadows as well. So if I want, I could use a top layer color. I'm going to use black, but you could use any color that you really want to use. Doesn't really matter. Just bring the opacity down, and then you can paint just right in here to make this part darker. And what that will represent is the stairs that goes down to the other floor, just to indicate a shift. So kind of helpful. Now you can use arrows. You could use whatever it is you want to use. Because sometimes, you know, players don't want to see an arrow on the map or whatever. I mean, it's just to indicate to your player, but that's usually what I do is I'll just use some kind of shadow or a light source, whichever one you want, or you can just make an arrow. And arrows are easy to use. Just use the line tool, use a color, and then whatever color that you want, and just kind of just draw the arrow in the direction that you want. So it's up to you how you want to do it. It's a matter of personal preference and what you'd like. But, you know, for this one, I'm going to use that. So now that we have like that, which is super important, which is now that I have together the access, so the way downstairs to the ground floor and then access to the next floor up, now I can start putting some stuff in it. Now, when you're not certain what to put into a room or into a space, you simply need to think about what is the function of the room, right? So if this room is meant to be a bedroom, or is it meant to be a kitchen? Is it meant to be a library? Whatever the function is, that will help you to decide how to populate the room with which stamps, okay? So now, because I kind of want maybe the bedroom to be either on this floor or maybe one up, I'm not sure, we'll just see. For now, I think we could probably just put the bedroom in here and then maybe put a shrine in here because there's this open space down here at the bottom. So I think that might be a good space to put some kind of shrine because, you know, this is your personal prayer space. It's also your bedroom space. So it all kind of fits in it. And I'll have it be maybe a form of ancestral worship. So I'll probably put a statue in there and some candles or something like that. I think that always looks good. And then at the top, as the musical rogue mentioned, I probably will put some windows at the very top, and then we can put some kind of telescope or something at the top for stargazing. So I think that would be kind of cool. Just take a look at it so far. Okay, so we'll put a statue in. We'll both work on the shrine, then we'll move our way into the bedroom. So I'll put in a statue. Just pick whatever statue you think works best. Like maybe this is like an ancestor that won a great battle, or they built a city, or whatever it might be. And we'll just put that there for now. And what I'll do is I usually start with the biggest stamps first in a room. And that doesn't include the rugs because I kind of feel like I usually don't put down the rug first and then I put down the stamps. Sometimes I don't know where I'm going to put rugs until I already have stamps down. But generally, as a rule of thumb, start with bigger stamps first. That way it takes up more room and it looks like you're getting more done. And it's just to help to kind of give you a feeling for space as well. Like, oh, did I make the room too big or too small? Okay, we'll just type in a bed. And I think a two, like a queen size or a king size bed should be good. And I'll put that there. And I think what I might also do is kind of create some walls that kind of create some privacy. Because what we have so far, I'm noticing is that when you go up and down the stairs, there's almost just no privacy. So we might want to put like maybe some kind of room divider or some kind of whatever to kind of maybe block the bed from the walk space. And that way there's a little bit more privacy. So I'll put it up against the wall. It's all the way up against the wall right here like this. And then I can go in and I can kind of pick a shape that I want to use for a wall. And I think I'll use wood because I think that just looks nice. I can kind of use this grid as a guide. And then what's cool with the shape, what's cool with the line and shape tools, you can snap to grid. So if I click the pen for the line and click snap to grid, and then I can kind of snap my grid together, and then I'm going to create just this kind of wall divider here. It's a little big, so we'll have to scale it down. And I kind of want the wood to be a bit darker, so I'll just bring the brightness down. And the reason why I'm choosing the darker wood, not just because it's a personal preference, but because that stone is so light. You notice that it's kind of a light gray. And when you look at the wood when it's lighter, it kind of blends in with it. And so it's kind of hard to tell, like, is this a wall? Is this whatnot? So by bringing the brightness, down, you're actually getting it to contrast against that lighter gray. So just kind of remember that trick. The contrast is kind of important. So I'll create this kind of divider space right here. I'll push it down a layer. And in fact, I might even make it a little bit smaller so I can go in and click here and then play with the nodes. There we go. And I can go in. I'll put one there. Copy, paste, another one right here. And I see it sticking out of the wall a little bit, so we'll push it back in. Same thing with this one, push it back in a little bit. There we go. And I'll turn to snap to grid, I don't need it. And I could either move the bed over to the side, I can move it this way to give it more room. I could put it like this. You just want to make sure that there's enough space for players to move around. That's kind of the thing. But this is a nice little divider right here that works. I think we'll stick with that. And then there's still a lot of space right here in the middle. So there's some things that we can change there as well. Like we could just move the bed over to here if you want, or over to here. Yes, snap to grid is relatively new. Okay, well, I think I'll put the bed here. I just want to make sure there's enough walking room for players to be moving around. It's something you always need to be thinking about when you're placing stamps, is you don't want to create this small space. You didn't realize there's enough space for your players to move around. So always kind of factor that in. You want that space. Let's put the shadows in to kind of give it some ambient occlusion. That means it'll give it a little bit of shadow to kind of make them pop out a little bit, which is always good. So a little bit of shadow there. So now that they're popping out a little bit, so now players can walk in. And I think I'll scale this down just a little bit more. Because if this is, I'm going to go ahead and move over to here, and you'll kind of see the size of a bench. And then you can see the size of the bed. Make sure that we have a correct scale. There we go. So there's tons of room here. Okay. Other things that you're going to find in a room are going to be like dressers, tables, things like that. So if I type in dresser, and there's a couple here, there's one here, and I think that might look good right here. And then we can put another one here. And then instead of everything just being flat up against these 90-degree angles against these walls here, also put some down against the curved part as well to break up that symmetry. Because this looks weird if I had two dressers or desks here like that. But if I move it like this, it breaks up that symmetry. And what's nice is to have, because the shape is symmetrical, it's nice to have some asymmetrical elements within the circle to break up that symmetry. It's just kind of an artist's trick to kind of make things look better. And as always, I'm going to add a custom object shadow. Just going to bring everything. It's because I'm sticking with just basic stuff. Later in this month, we'll be doing a directional shadows tutorial with the Fantasy Battle Map style. So if you're curious on how to do all that directional shadow stuff, don't worry, we got a stream coming up for that. Okay. The other things that you might find in there are like a bookshelf. And I'll pick maybe like a smaller one because there's not a lot of space. And either I can put it against here or I can put it against here. Like this. And what's always nice to have is just whatever you would have in a normal bedroom. Right? Maybe there's a chair by the bed so that people can take their shoes off before they hop into the bed. So you can put a chair down in the corner here. You can put several chairs. Maybe there's 2 chairs there. Right? Maybe you have a chair against this dresser right here. So the trick is when you're populating the inside, just think about what is necessary for whoever lives here to survive, right? And what would they have in it? What would you want? Would you want some place to sit? Would you like a room to sit and read? Would you like a little comfy corner for your book nook? Whatever it is, think about those things when you're populating a room. Is what kind of fun stuff can you put in there? And I think now I can put my rug in because I didn't want to put down a rug quite yet. I wanted to wait. So I can maybe put a rug in here. Just bring it down a layer. There we go. Push this one up. And I think this is a down. There we go. Push this up one. There we go. Okay. Got a rug here. I'm going to make it a little bit darker. There we go. And to make it look like it got moved around a little bit, to show that there's been, you know, like someone's foot caught on the edge and it moved the rug a little bit. I'm just going to rotate it just a little bit so it's not perfectly square with those walls right there. And I think that will add a nice kind of use feel to it. That's what you want to do with things. Like you don't want all your chairs or your stools all have all the grain facing the same way. Little tiny little details like that. Just a move, maybe even the bed got pushed a little bit. Just rotate it just a little bit so it's not perfectly at a 90. See that? It's going to make it look like it got lived in. Yeah, like the musical rogue was saying. So very helpful to move things around, rotate things just a little bit. Little things like that really, 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 really help. Okay, so now that we kind of put that together, I think the overall like aesthetic and the design looks good for the bedroom. We'll have to figure out what we want to do with the space in the center there. Like we could put shelves or we could put maybe benches or anything in there just for sitting. Maybe people want to sit and read. Maybe that little book nook will be in this corner here, whatever it might be. But let's go ahead and finish up the shrine first. And what I'll do with the shrine is to throw in maybe some kind of shrubbery or plants or something like that, maybe like a bush or two, because I kind of feel like adding in plants and stuff is a great way to kind of give a nice look to a shrine. So I'll just put one maybe like in each corner here for a little bit of greenery. Put one in each corner here. I think that looks fine. And then it might not be a bad idea to put some candles on there. So we have to type in candle. And we're going to do a mix between unlit candles and lit candles. So I'll start with lit first. And I'll just kind of place 1, 2, 3. There we go. Only that much. Then I'll go ahead and take the unlit ones and then place them more of those in there because you don't want 12 different light sources on there because it's going to be too much light. So instead, I'll just do a couple and then I can just put one big light source on top of that. So then I just take the light source, get a big one, and then put it on top. And I'll bring the opacity down a little bit. There we go. And you could do each individual one. That's up to you. You could just go like this, as long as it's small enough so it's not all too many, because too much light can look really, really odd. So you have to be careful with that. And maybe you want that light to be emanating a little bit. So put one on top and bring the opacity down even more. So now you have a nice little shrine right here. And maybe this is where the elves will go up to a candle, they'll light it, and they'll say a prayer or an incantation or something to the statue of maybe that ancestor, and they'll make a wish or a request or whatever it might be to appeal to, I don't know, whatever gods that they might worship. So it's, you know, throwing in little ideas like that helps to give it more detail as well. Okay, so I think we're almost done with that. I think this is going to look good right here. And then we'll throw in something in the center there. And I know that I saw some benches right here. So let's just copy and paste that bench. And then kind of an easy place to put them right here. And then we'll put another one over here. Or you could put like maybe like a hand washing station, which I think might even work better. Let's put down a bowl. And let me expand all these. Take a look at which one I want. I think this one looks nice right here. We'll stick with this one. And then this is going to be like kind of a washing station. And then we can put like maybe a trough of water in here somewhere as well. And then we'll put this here, right here. So a nice kind of washing station, some water they can put into the washing station. If there's a bucket, then we can do that. If there's not a bucket, and that's okay. We'll just take another bowl, a smaller one, and just put it right next to it. There we go. Okay. And then I also maybe want to put some books. I said that was maybe a book nook, so let's take a book. Put a couple of them. Let's see here. Any individual books? Perfect. Let's put one right here. One on the table. Let's put an open one on the table. And then let's put this one below the table. So I'll have to go up a layer. There we go. This one is underneath. We'll have it sticking out. And then this one will be on top. There we go. Oh, this way I like better. There we go. Okay. And great trick to doing depth, right? Putting something underneath something will give that illusion of height, of depth, right? If I was to put this underneath right here, then it would make it look like this dresser or this table is higher up than the book. So the great trick to depth is layering. Just stack things on top of each other. You notice that I have something on top of the bench and something below the bench. That creates that sense of height and depth, right? So that's really the kind of the trick for creating depth. It's just layer, 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 layer. Layer things on top of each other. That's the best trick. Okay, I also might want to put like a window here in the back because this can't be the only lighting and there needs to be air flow. So if I just take the shape of this wall here and I just go in and I'll go ahead and just use the portal option and then I'll just create a little open space here, and then from there I can put a window in there. I open that up, I type in window, and you'll see a bunch of different windows. There's a lot to choose from. Just going to use this kind of big one right here. There we go. And I noticed that it's yellow, so I'm just going to desaturate it just a little bit. Bring the brightness down, and it should somewhat match. It's a little on the dark side, or a little on the line work is really thick, but I want it to be around the same thickness as the wall, which is fine. And then if you feel like there's too much gap, then just pull these together. And there you go. Okay, so a nice little window. And if you want to have, if the sun is facing that direction, you can just copy paste the light source, put it up to the highest layer, and then have the light coming through the window here. Okay. And if we were going into a lot of depth about this, then you could have all the shadows kind of directionally going away from that light source. Just the same thing here. If there's anything around here, all of this, that shadows would be projecting away from that light source. But we're not going to go into depth on that here. We'll save that for another stream. We could also put in another rug in the center here if you wanted to, like a circular rug. That might kind of like bring more of the room together. And then the last thing we can do is just maybe throw a couple more details, like we could put a book up on top. And what I like to do is to, again, the layering thing, have one on top of the rug and then half off the rug. Again, that creates depth and it kind of breaks up some of the symmetry of that perfect circle. So just kind of remember those tricks. Also, I might want to consider putting an ink well. Let's maybe put one right here on top. And think about other details you want. There's some more books right here. I could probably move these books over to here, have some on the ground somewhere. A little bit of a mess is always kind of nice. Put them right in here on the floor. I think that looks good. Perfect. All right, so the room is kind of coming together. You get the idea. The last thing is maybe to throw down some paper, because where there is books, there is paper. So let's just throw down some paper that maybe like came out of the book. So I'll throw just a couple down there. just throw a couple of these pages. I'll turn the shadow off too. I don't want them on. No shadow. None. Okay. And then we'll put one on here, maybe leading into the room. This is kind of a big thing for me. I love to put papers. And so what I'll do here is to show what the staircase leads to what, is I'll put some papers leading up to this next floor up here. And then I can put papers over on this side inside of here leading up. And that way they'll know which staircase they went up and which down. Just a little tricks like that. Again, you can use the arrows like a Vigilant said earlier. That works fine. Or you can totally do whatever little kind of tricks or visual tricks that you want to use to make sure that players know which direction go where, right? Now, I think for now, this kind of works out fairly well. We've gone about 25 minutes, so let's go ahead and just work on that next floor. And I'm kind of thinking the next floor might be like either a kitchen, it might be a pantry, like this little square space right here could be the pantry, and we can put in some shelves and some bread and some food, as well as over here we can put some kind of stove in here somewhere, put in some tables, stuff like that, just a place that they could cook. And I don't know if your elves are vegan or vegetarians or if they eat meat or whatever, so whatever kind of food you'll put in the kitchen will determine whether or not what is culturally appropriate for this race of people to eat within their culture. So you'll have to figure that kind of stuff out. So let's just open this up. We'll start with putting in the paper, like I said before. And this way players again will kind of know like, oh hey, this is where I went to get up. So let me just take a step back. Oopsie, I put that piece right there when I was not inside the group. My mistake. There we go. Put them in. There we go. Now we're within the group. So we'll put together a kitchen. And again, you start with the largest pieces first. So maybe a stove, if they have one in here. There's a corner stove. I think this one right here looks fine. We'll just put this in here. And again, we're going to make sure we be careful with scale. I think that looks about right. And I think I'll put the stove right here. Just push it down a layer so that it's down. I'm trying to line it up with the grid as well, so that way it's easy to have your players move around. So there's that one. And then we'll put in some kind of table. There has to be a place to prepare the food. So we want to put down some kind of table for that. Let's put down a bit of a larger one. So a place to prep the food. And I usually, what you would find is that the preparation area, the preparation table, the island, whatever you use in your kitchen, is to have the prep table next to the oven and the stove. So that way, when you're cooking, you move the prepared materials from the cutting board or the prep table, the island, over to the food easily just by grabbing it, turning around, and putting it in there. So a little bit about interior design there is that kind of makes sense that you're going to have your preparatory space be close to the place where you're cooking the food itself, the stove. So not a kind of complex thing. And I'll put that right there. And then, of course, you're going to want a place to eat as well. So this is the prep section. What about the section where we go to eat? And we can put that here maybe in the center. And I'll move this a little bit away so there's some room there. This table seems about, let's see here. Let me check the chairs real quick to kind of verify. It's the problem with the scale thing is that I have to go back to a space I've already been, then come back over here. Just wanted to verify. There we go. Okay, this looks good. Let's push this up a layer. And I'm going to make this just a little bit darker. Just going to use contrast to make it look like it's down. So we'll copy paste. And what I do is when it comes to a table, just like with your rugs, don't have every single one of them pushed in nicely right against it. Have some of them pushed out. Have some of them way over here to the side. Maybe someone was sitting over here talking with someone with the prep table. Maybe one of them fell over. Maybe one of them is completely under the table, whatever it might be. So some nice little tricks about use, again, is to make things not perfectly set up. Because, in a living space, nothing is 100% perfect. There's always something. Okay, let's just make sure. I want this to kind of be centered. I think that works out well. I'll push this up. And we'll put this up against here. So that way you know that this is kind of a table. And then we'll go ahead and think about the next items that we need here. Like we want to put some dressers, some cabinets, some shelves, things like that for food. So we'll go ahead and close this. Let's just go into tavern. There should be a lot of fun stuff in the tavern right here. So this looks good. There's some racks right here. So let's maybe throw in those. I'm going to put them away from the stove where the fire is. So I'll put them off to the side, but close enough to where it's still within arm's reach of the table, the preparation table, so they can walk just right over to the cabinet, pick up that stuff, go back to the table there. Okay? And let's put another one over here. I think that'd be kind of good. Just having some, putting a kitchen together. So all within walking space. Let's push this a little further away. There we go. Got that table there. And you got that. And I'll just rotate this just a little bit. It's been hit, it's been rotated. And then now we can kind of look into food. And again, this is all about what your diet of your species is who lives here. So I'm just going to put a bunch of fruits and vegetables in here for now, because I'm just going to say that these elves are vegetarian or vegan or whatever. So we'll put those in. I'm not going to put any meat, no fish, no dairy, maybe some spices. Put that in there. Don't forget to put some stuff on top of the shelves, like a bag of spice. Maybe put another one on the ground below, because you've already got some spice there. So put some down there. That looks good. Put maybe one on top of here. There we go. So you kind of get the general idea with details. It's just what, when it comes to the kitchen, what do they eat? What are they preparing? Stuff like that. We can throw in a knife for cutting and preparing things. Make sure it's set to the right layer. And we can also throw in, I think, a bottle here. And we'll put the bottles up here. Maybe it could be wine. Could be a bottle of water. Could be a number of things. Okay. All right, so that kitchen space. And there's a lot of space left over. And that's fine. That's good. We're going to go back into here. And we're going to take this staircase right here. We're going to copy. We're going to paste it. Put it back into here. We do want, of course, to have the other staircase working, so let's throw that in there. There we go. Okay. Yeah, you can throw in a cutting board, whatever it is, whatever materials that you want your elves to use, or whoever lives there. A cutting board or whatever. So, not savages. Okay. All right, so we've got that space, got the entrance, got that taken care of. We know which way to get in, which way to go to the next floor. And this next part will be a pantry. I'm just going to have the stairs going up into this section right here. This is going to be a pantry. And the way that I'll put that together is just to take a series of shelves, like a simple bench, which I'm going to use as a shelf instead. So I'll put one here, one right here, and one right here. So it's just a walk-in pantry. Just walk right in. And I'll probably put in a door, because a pantry should be closed off. So we'll end up putting a door and walls to put that all together. Okay, and then we'll put stuff on top of that. So we can put like maybe some bread in here. It's a pantry, so we can put in those kind of things. We can put in like a watermelon slice over here just for fun. Just whatever you want to put in your pantry. It doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to put some wood over here as well for the stove. How else can the stove operate if it doesn't have some wood to put into the stove for fire? So I'll move this over this way and then put this next to here. There we go. So now you have some firewood next to the stove. So just think about that. Like as you keep adding things, you'll realize, oh, hey, there's a stove. I'll need some firewood. If I don't have this, then I need to add this. So it's just whatever. Again, it's mostly the function thing, because some people get confused about interior decoration. It's not complex. It's really just the function part, and then throw in some kind of fantasy element, which is what I like to do. Just have a little fantasy element to kind of make it look cool. I think that's the kind of important thing there. Let's go ahead and create that wall space. And I think right here, I'll just kind of click this one right here and just work with this. Okay, and we'll put it here. And I'm going to go ahead and play with the length. And then I'll put a portal, and then I'll add a door. Okay, and then you can just, your door can be as simple as you want. It can be something simple like this, or you could just have an archway. That way there is no door at all. There's just an arch that kind of goes into it. That's up to you. Or if you don't want to show doors at all, you just want it to have an opening. So it's up to you how you want to go about it. But this will kind of create an enclosed space now, and this will be like the pantry. Okay. But I think overall that looks good. The other details is to put maybe maybe some food on the ground, maybe some tools on the ground, or whatever it is, just some extra stuff on the ground to kind of give it a little bit more character. And then I'll also just take one light source and just put it over the table. And if you're, when you're trying to show that there's a light overhead, like there's overhead light, just put a light source down and don't worry about trying to show like a hanging lamp or anything. So if you wanted to show that there was a light over the cutting board or over this right here, then you would just place it on the top layer or layer +5 and just put it on top like this. And that way it would show that, hey, there's either a skylight or there's a light or a chandelier hanging from the top. And I'll bring the opacity down because it's super bright. Okay, so we have a little bit of a light source there. There you go. How much time we have? 36? Okay. You know what? I think we can just finish this last section here. Hope you're kind of getting the general idea on how to kind of put each room together. Not too complex. Let's turn off the grid so we can just kind of look at it real quick. So we have that ground floor. We have the sleeping space. They go upstairs. Go to this one. This is where the cooking space is. And then up here is where we'll have a telescope. We'll have like a library up here. We only need to show one staircase going down instead of like going up. There's no other floors, so that's perfect. And it's already in the right position because as you go up the stairs and up to here. So I think we're doing well here. Again, you could throw in a light source or shadowing or whatever to show which way, but I think because I added these this paper right here, it's kind of clear where that leads to. And so there's no confusion about where the staircase goes. Okay, so we'll first throw in, like as you would expect, a lot of bookshelves. You would kind of expect a library to have those things. So we'll go ahead and just type in book, and then there'll be a bunch of bookshelves here, and we'll just put in a whole bunch. So, and we'll put them on the circular part of the wall, like this. It's kind of what you would expect in a library, is a lot of books. So let's just go ahead and just have the books go all the way around. And then we'll leave some, we'll have tons of space in the center here for people to sit and to read, check out their books. Type in table. A nice circular table. Let's throw in, I don't know how many people visit here, but we could throw one in the corner here. We can throw one over here. Or if you feel like there's not much space, because there's a lot of circular, you could also just use a wooden one as well. So if you prefer the wooden table, you can use these instead. And I think this actually will work. So we'll just do it like this and make sure that there's room. So let's turn that grid back on. I want to make sure that there's room for players to walk around the table to get through the two tables and to get over here to where the telescope is going to be. There we go. And I'll just kind of rotate these just a little bit. And then I can go in and add in my chairs. Should be in the list here. There's the darker ones. Perfect. And I probably will have to push these up a layer. Copy, paste. One here. We'll put one maybe over here if someone sat there. And then we'll put one maybe off to the side over here. Someone just grabbed the chair from the table and moved it to the corner there. One there, and then one more right here. And I think another one on this side. Excuse me. Okay. And of course, what else were you going to expect in the library but a lot of books? You'll go in and just grab all your books. start with like a big kind of a pile of them on the ground over here, and then we'll put a bunch on top of the table. There we go. An open book over here. There's some smaller books. Let's put in some smaller books. Something you would kind of expect. Put some on top of the table. There we go. Okay, so lots and lots and lots of books. So I think overall that looks good. If you want, we can throw in maybe a rug as well. I can kind of push these things up a layer. And then we'll put maybe a rug underneath. Okay. And then, again, I think I might put a book underneath the table so you can kind of show that there's some height and dimension there. So I'll put one underneath the table there. That looks good. And then I'll pick a rug of my choice to go underneath. There's kind of this gothic one right here, or you can use this one right here. I know we kind of used a similar one in this floor right here. Maybe you want to stick within a theme. You can do that. Just put that underneath. If you don't like that, you can always change the hue. If you don't like the color, just change the hue. You want it to be green. You want it to be pink. Whatever the color might be. Make it whatever you want. It's just to show that there's some rug there. And I made it circular, and I just center it. And because there's no straight lines on this rug, you clearly can't rotate it to make it look like it got tilted or anything like that. Okay, and then we will put light sources on top of each. So imagine there's like some kind of chandelier or something, or maybe some candles hanging from either side, or if you just want to throw a candle down, you can. Just copy and paste the candle from over there and then move it over to here. Up to you how you want to go about doing it. You can put one just in the center if you want, instead of having two. Up to you. And then from there, we'll go ahead and create the last section, which is going to be where our telescope is going to be. And we'll have to go ahead and create portals for that. So we'll have to create one window here. We'll create another one here and another one here. And now this way, you can kind of maximize the viewing for the telescope. So you can meet through this window, and this one. And I'm not sure if there's a telescope. I'm not sure. I think there is one. There it is. Great. Cool. And then you can just place it at any window that you want. You want it to be over here. Do you want it to be over here? Let's put it over here because I don't want it to be perfectly... So I'll kind of move it off to the side. Instead of having it perfectly straight, I'll kind of angle it just a little bit. That way. So you have this nice spot here. And if you want, we can maybe throw a bench or a table in here. People want to sit and look at the telescope, they can. If they want to take a bench and put it on the side somewhere, you want to put some statues, some shrubbery, or maybe there's like a small bench right here that you can put stuff on top of. So many different things that you can kind of do. I think just putting in some bushes would be nice. Just put them right here in the corner like we did last time. So some nice spots. And then I think what might be a good idea is to put an arch on top so that you have some detail here. So let's put an arch here, an arch here. I think it's a nice little detail that you can throw in there. There we go. And if you want people, maybe there's people waiting for it. So you can put another bench over here. And then maybe you want to put like a small table. Just find a small table and just put it right here up against here. Oopsie. There we go. Not at 0 opacity. That won't help anything. Little table here, and then maybe you want to put like books or the lenses or tools or whatever it might be. Like I do think I saw a tool. Let me double check. I think I saw some. Yule. I don't know what a Yule is, but... Okay, yeah, you got some staffs here. Got some wizard stuff here. That's kind of cool. We can just throw in maybe some alchemy stuff in there. There's a torch. We can probably throw that in here as well, just for fun. Put that there. There we go. Maybe put a torch on the table for when they want to light the torch to go down through the dark and dank staircase. And if you wanted to show that that this is kind of an open space, these are open windows, you can put the light source here by each one of those kind of window sections. So lots of cool little things that you can kind of put together when making your space. Oops, oh, I just noticed that chair needs to go down one. Oh, wait, the chair goes on top of the table. Yeah, let's do that. All right, let's go take a step back at everything, how things look. You've got the living space. And this kind of, you can sit in the bed and you can kind of see and hear, and you can sit and look at your ancestors as you're sitting in bed. You've got your bookshelf. You've got some stuff at the tables here. You've got a little bench. You've got a little reading nook over here. You've got stuff for bathing over here. The next floor up, you have the kitchen, the place to cook and prepare your food. Remember the layout, just have everything that you're using for prep close to the stove, so that way you can just kind of turn around and put things in. There's also that sitting space in here. We might want to even throw in some more benches right here. I think it's always good to throw in more stuff. Let's see here. We need to get that bench. Copy, paste. Okay. I think just benches are kind of a decent thing to kind of put in. So maybe while people are waiting, or they're knitting, or whatever they're doing, reading a book, waiting for cooking to happen or whatever, they can have a place to kind of wait before they sit at the table. Nice to have those benches there. Same thing here. You maybe want to throw in a bench right here in this corner right here so you can sit and kind of relax and enjoy a book. All right. Ooh, 343 changes. We haven't changed in a whole hour. Saved in a whole hour. Dang. Wow. Well, hey, that was kind of I think we got most of this done pretty dang quick, but just so you know, you just throw in the details. Again, it's just about the function. Whatever is happening in this room is going to determine a lot of the stamps that you're going to use when populating the room. Okay, so that is pretty much it. Now, if you do like this map, I will end up making this clonable. I'll just go ahead and put the link in the video description when I add this to YouTube. So definitely look for that link if you want to use this in your own campaign. Thank you everyone for watching. It's been great. I'm so glad we could come together and make this. We got some exciting streams coming up. We've got an epic mountain city stream where I'm going to be making an epic mountain and a city built on top of that. So we're going to be doing that. We've got directional shadows coming up. We've got masterclass Mondays coming up. Next Monday is going to be a masterclass. Join our Discord to be involved in that. It's going to be in Voice Chat 1, and it's going to be on how to make those 90s RPG maps, what's called top-down oblique. So we'll be teaching power users how to make those, and we have all kinds of fun streams coming up. So definitely check out what's new. Check out the stream calendar, and don't forget, if you don't see what you like, go to the Canny page to find stream requests. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. You guys are so awesome. Love you guys. Let's hang out again next Wednesday, and we will be making some cool stuff. So I'm excited to see you all next week. Please take care.